It looked like a bus stop where she's walking. There's palm trees.
The mother of 8-month-old King J. Davila describes the video she sees to her fiancé, Chris Davila, who is still in custody for child endangerment. He was arrested after their son was kidnapped.
I'm going crazy.
We were there when Jasmine Gonzalez watched the San Antonio police news conference.
Hope that the father will start to be cooperative and the family members will help us in this. But right now, they're uncooperative.
Uncooperative? How we're not being uncooperative? No, you're not even calling us or telling us anything. I've been calling to find out updates. That's bullshit.
She says she was on the phone with Davila moments before a woman walked to his car at a gas station pump and drove off with King J in the back seat.
Yeah, he made a mistake. He made a mistake for leaving the baby inside the car. We admit that was wrong. And he freaked out. He was panicking. I was like, you know what? Hang up. Call the cops. That's the first thing he did.
It's not right. You know, since day one, they've just been doing the same thing, not getting anywhere, and their focus is somewhere else. And they just need to focus all their information on where the car was located at.
Police believe Davila knew the woman who took their son, but both he and Gonzalez deny it.
Who is that chick? Why did she go ahead and go inside a vehicle? Obviously, she was watching. It's not that they were interacting. She was watching, basically, to see if there was a car on, and she went straight in.
And we begin with the latest on the search for little King J. Davila. Yesterday, we learned that investigators found the body of an 8-month-old baby that they believe is King J in an East Side neighborhood.
Since that announcement, people have been flooding to that location off Castlebrook Drive. Sarah Costa is live at the memorial on the East Side now and has spoken to visitors about why they've come to remember the baby. Sarah?
And just right now, a large group of people arrived. They have all joined hands and they're starting to pray as they remember 8-month-old King J. Davila, praying not just for the baby, but also what we just heard as the person leading the prayer say, asking for prayers for the whole family. Now, according to an affidavit, Christopher Davila, the child's father, took investigators to this dead end of Castle Lance on the northeast side to show investigators where he buried his son. Investigators dug up a black backpack containing what appeared to be the baby's body wrapped in a blanket. According to an arrest affidavit, Davila told detectives that he was home with King J and the child was on the bed in a car seat, but was not strapped in. According to the affidavit, Davila said he sat on the bed and the car seat fell, causing King J to land face first on the floor. The child may have also hit his head on the dresser, the affidavit said. Instead of calling authorities or medical personnel because Davila said he was scared, he concocted a plan to cover up the child's death and stage a fake kidnapping last Friday night. Now the news broke that baby King J was found dead. People from across the city are coming to remember the baby. We spoke with the one woman who told us she'd been following the story all week and said it broke her heart that someone would harm a child.
People coming together to remember a little boy who should actually still be with us. But there's a lot of love and it's brought our community together.
Vela said she cried when she found out the news and says she hopes the community can learn from this and not let something like this happen to any other child. And that memorial continues to grow, as we've seen just over the last couple of hours, even past this rail to the actual site in this field behind me where people are laying balloons, where investigators found that 8-month-old baby. And coming up tonight, we'll speak with more of those people that are gathering and why they want the child remembered. Live from the East Side, I'm Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News.
Now, we've told you about the impact of this case on the community. Well, much of San Antonio had taken King J into their hearts. They'd prayed for his safe return. Jesse DeGoyada was there, as many felt compelled to see where his tiny body was recovered.
They came soon after learning of baby King J's death to see the wide, muddy, marshy field that police say his father had to get across to allegedly bury his son. The crime scene tape where his body was found, now adorned with stuffed toys. It's where some family members and friends joined hands in prayer. A woman close to the family, holding 2 children, sobbed, asking why? This unidentified man says he had driven by here just yesterday.
And I should have got off, and I think I would have...
Yesterday.
And I should have got off, And I think I would have found him because I said, baby Jay, leave me where you're at.
Others who left balloons and mementos were neighbors or people who just had to be here, like Mary Helen de la Rosa.
It's just sad. I just have to come and pay my respects.
Now knowing that police have accused the baby's father, grandmother, and the father's cousin of either being involved in his death or trying to cover it up.
It's hard. It's hard to believe that they could do that to the innocent baby.
The only comfort for many of those here.
He's home. He's in peace, and we're with you. We're with you, King Jay. We're with you all the way.
We can say that we have found him, and we're bringing him home, and he's going home to be with the Lord.
Of baby King Jay Davila has gripped this city and the country. But tonight, fake fundraising accounts are claiming to accept donations for the baby's burial. Eyewitness News reporter Henry Ramos has a warning. Plus, he shows us where you can give money if you want to help. Please, please, please.
Pamela Allen wants to warn you about what has been circulating online. GoFundMe pages are out there for the burial of King Jay Davila. Check this one out. It was started 4 days ago, and it is asking for $10,000. But Allen says don't give to them.
We don't need to have GoFundMe accounts.
She says Castle Ridge Funeral Home will pay for Baby King's funeral. And Any Baby Can, a local nonprofit, has donated a site for him to be buried. She says the family is aware of the plans.
Oh, there's no reason for GoFundMe accounts to start. There's no reason for people to be standing out with his picture trying to collect money.
Allen, the CEO of Eagles Flight, says people instead should give to nonprofits who are trying to raise a voice against child abuse.
Please be careful.
At last check, there is no date set for Baby King's funeral. A GoFundMe spokesperson tells KENS 5 they have zero tolerance policy for misuse, and its safety team is looking into the Baby King GoFundMe page. Henry Ramos, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Prayer service will now be a candlelight vigil at 7 o'clock tonight here at Monterrey Park. The organizer was telling me that judging by the response that he's seen on social media, a large crowd will be gathering here in unity and prayer, mourning the loss of baby King Jay. We're live here on the west side. Jesse Degollado, KSAT 12 News.
It's a story that has gripped the hearts of the San Antonio community over the past 2 weeks.
This is for you, King Jay!
The finding of a baby buried in a backpack less than a mile away from the home of the father, Christopher Davila. Davila led investigators to the site last week, and now 2 of the 3 people charged in connection with the disappearance of baby King Jay Davila have been targets of physical aggression in recent days, while in custody at the Bexar County Jail. Angela Torres, Davila's cousin, and King Jay's grandmother, Beatrice Sampaio. Torres was already in custody on an unrelated charge when the sheriff's office says she was cornered and jumped in the bathroom by 3 female inmates on January 9th. She was officially charged in baby King's case the next day. The sheriff's office says an inmate spat on Sampaio while she was being walked with a guard. Sampaio chose not to press charges. The sheriff's office says Angie Torres chose to be in general population rather than in protective custody before the assault, but has since been moved to protective custody. The extent of Torres' injuries are unclear. The 3 women who assaulted Torres are still under criminal investigation and haven't been officially charged, according to the sheriff's office. Baby King's grandmother and Chris Davila remain in protective custody.
And Torres's bail is set at $300,000. Sampaio, the grandmother, her bail is $250,000. And Christopher Davila, King Jay's father, his bail is set at $1.25 million. Steve, EC's.
Request of her attorney.
The bond is set at $250,000, which is oppressive. It is unreasonable for the third degree, tampering with evidence.
In court, Sampaio's attorney presented medical documents showing she's suffering from terminal illnesses, including ovarian and bone cancer. She said releasing Sampaio from jail would allow her access to hospice treatment she couldn't get in custody. The prosecutor disputed that request, presenting these video clips of Sampaio at a gas station on January 4th after King Jay's reported kidnapping. The judge ultimately granted the request on a condition of drug and alcohol testing.
And thank you for joining us. I'm Phil Anaya. New tonight, the suspects in the death of baby King Jay Davila are set to be in court this week. Eyewitness News reporter Henry Ramos is live at the courthouse tonight. So, Henry, who is expected to be in court tomorrow?
Phil, two family members of Christopher Davila, the man claiming to be the father of baby King J, are scheduled to be in court here tomorrow. Those relatives are Davila's mother and cousin. Police believe Beatriz Sampaio and Angie Torres helped Davila stage a kidnapping to cover up baby King's death. According to online records, their trial date is June 3rd, and they are listed on the court docket for Monday. It has been 4 months since the 8-month-old was found in a backpack in a field. He died from blunt force trauma. Now, Davila told police when baby King was in his car seat, Davila was playing video games and baby King was on the seat of the edge of the bed. He told police the baby fell face forward on the ground and that he may have hit a dresser on the way down. Well, tonight, Jasmine McGill, the leader of King's Angels, a nonprofit that started in memory of baby King, says regardless of what happens this week, she just wants justice.
Even if it's just a regular old court hearing where they call them up and talk just a little bit, every single word that comes out of their mouths, the lawyers' mouths, is going to be huge. It's going to be a development because this whole case has been very hush hush, from the inside out. And there's a lot of details that I believe that the public still does not know about.
Now, I also asked McGill, what does justice mean for her? She says if all three are found guilty, then all three of them should be sentenced to life in prison. Now, as for Davila, he is expected to be in court here on Tuesday morning. We will have a crew here tomorrow morning, so make sure to keep it here with KENS 5 on air and online for the latest developments. Live downtown, Henry Ramos, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
And first at 5, a significant bond reduction for a woman facing charges in the death of baby King J. Davila.
Bond for Angie Torres, the infant's aunt, was originally set at $250,000. Paul Venema was in court today as the judge dropped it to $75,000.
Angie Torres has been in jail in lieu of a $250,000 bail since January after the body of 8-month-old King J. Davila was found in a backpack buried in a shallow grave. She allegedly took part in a bogus kidnapping and stolen car scheme involving Christopher Davila, who claimed he was the infant's father. Davila, who is Torres' cousin, is facing injury to a child charges in the infant's death.
I know she can get on her feet. I believe in her.
Torres' mother, in court asking for a bond reduction, testified that she could not post the high bail.
I asked family. I don't have any assets to sell or pawn or anything like that.
Torres' sister, too, testified that she couldn't post bond, but promised to help in other ways.
Take her wherever she needs to go, be there for her emotionally, in every aspect.
Following the women's testimony, the ruling.
The bond is reduced to $75,000 with global positioning, full house arrest.
Torres also has a $50,000 bond in a separate aggravated assault case. It remains in place. Torres' trial, absent a plea deal, is not likely to get underway until later this summer, probably not until mid-August. Paul Venema, KSAT 12 News.
We have new information in the baby King J case. During a bail reduction hearing for Christopher Davila, who is facing charges in the case, the child's mother testified that Davila is not the father.
Paul Venema takes us to that hearing during which the judge denied Davila's request that his $1.2 million bail be lowered.
Christopher Davila has been jailed since the body of 8-month-old King J. Davila was found buried in a shallow grave in January. He's facing charges of injury to a child, serious bodily injury by omission, and tampering with evidence. In January, Davila claimed that the child was in his car when it was stolen. He later admitted burying the body after he said the child was injured accidentally at the home he shared with the child's mother. Though the child bears Davila's name, she made a surprising revelation during the hearing.
The defendant is not the father of King J, correct?
No.
And the child that you are pregnant with now, is he the father or somebody else?
He is the father.
She testified that her family and Davila's family are not able to afford his current bond. She asked that it be lowered, promising that Davila will show up for any subsequent hearings.
For him, now from when I know him, I know for sure that he will appear to court. because he's not the same person that he was before.
Following the 30-minute hearing, Judge Andy Carruthers had his ruling.
I deny bond reduction on all of the cases.
As he asked for the bail reduction, Davila's lawyer blamed the police chief and the DA's office for the high bail and the media for excessive coverage. Paul Venom, a KSAT.
The deal in the Baby King J case this week left many concerned that justice won't be served for the little boy. The news came after a pretrial hearing for the main suspect in the case, Christopher Davila. Eyewitness News reporter Mariah Medina talked to the Bexar County District Attorney, who says it's too early to worry.
He is prepared to take an offer if he thinks it's reasonable, and so far we don't have a solid offer, so once we get one, we can start working on it from there.
Words from the attorney of Christopher Davila this week, who's charged in connection with the death of his then-girlfriend's son, King J. Davila, sparking anxiety from advocates who fear Christopher will not fully face the consequences of his alleged actions if he's offered a plea deal. District Attorney Joe Gonzalez unable to discuss the specifics of the case, setting the record straight.
There hasn't been any plea bargain negotiations.
But Gonzalez says he understands the community's concerns.
So we're aware of the concern out in the public, and I will tell those that are concerned about that not to worry, because we're not ever going to do anything without checking with the family and making sure that this is the right step and that this will involve bringing justice to the victim in this case.
He says all plea deals must be cleared by his administration before they're offered. Gonzalez also explaining how common plea deals are nationally, elaborating on how the public may misunderstand the bargain aspect to mean a defendant can avoid consequences. He says if an accused person agrees to prison time,
that may be a better resolution than rolling the dice and ending up with an acquittal and he walks out the front door.
And while ethics rules bar Gonzalez from speaking to Davila's case, he did say it was too early in the process to even be discussing plea deals. Davila's case is set to go to trial in February of 2020. Mariah Medina, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
One step closer to seeing his day in court. Today, defense attorneys denied a 50-year plea deal offered by prosecutors, saying the punishment was too stiff.
Davila in jail on charges related to the January 2019 death of his 8-month-old stepson, King J. Davila. That infant died after falling from a bed while sitting in a car seat that investigators say he was not strapped into. Davila now accused of staging a kidnapping with the help of his mother, Beatrice Sampaio, as well as his cousin, Angie Torres. He later led investigators to King J's body, which had been buried in a backpack on the northeast side. Davila faces several charges, including serious bodily injury to a child by omission, tampering with evidence, and concealing a human corpse. Defense attorneys say those charges do not amount to the punishment offered in today's plea deal.
In an offense like injury to a child, he would have to serve one half of whatever sentence he might receive. And so if he got 50 years, he'd have to serve 25 years just to be eligible for parole. That doesn't mean he gets parole.
Jury selection, the next step in Davila's trial. It's expected to begin in early March. Beatrice Sampaio and Angie Torres face tampering with evidence charges.